Welcome back to the Fulfilled Female Entrepreneur Podcast. It's your host, Cassandra Rosa. I'm a certified coach and healer and intuitive business coach, and the mission behind this podcast is to help you to create a fulfilling life in business. Today, I'm really excited to have Hayley Mill on the podcast today, and she's going to be talking about the missing piece in your manifestation. All right. Journey. I first want to thank you so much, Hayley, for coming on the podcast. I'm really excited to talk about this so powerful topic today, especially in lieu of it being January when people are tuning in and talking about all things manifestation. So first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No worries. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. So I'm really excited to chat with you about this. Something I'm very passionate about.
Yes, I love that. And it's so beautiful how we can connect on Facebook and be on opposite ends of the world. I'm in Canada, Hayley is in Australia, and collaborate. So that's the beauty of social media, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Yeah, I'm excited to introduce everyone to Hayley. She's a manifestation coach who knows anything possible and that it's okay to want more out of life. Never one to live an ordinary life, Hayley has traveled, worked, and manifested her way around the world living her dream life. She's manifested cars, houses, travel, and even her daughter's birth. The manifestation method shows anyone how to create a life that they love. We're going to leave all the links in the show notes or in this video and direct you to hayleymill.com, where you're going to have an abundance of free resources and ways to get to know Hayley even more. I love manifestation. I have to say it's one of my favorite topics to talk about when it comes to personal development. So I love that you're a manifestation coach. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Look, I love it. I mean, what a cool job to have.
Yeah.
I love watching people, live their best life, basically. So I think every day, how lucky am I that I get to do this?
Yes, and you're embodying the work with all the travel, and that's so amazing. Yeah. So I would love to ask you, what does fulfillment mean to you?
Fulfillment to me means that, I thought a lot about this actually, because living my best life, I want to be fulfilled all the time. But then I thought, what exactly does that mean? I mean, and I love that I've got my amazing family and love where I live, but also it means to feel satisfaction from what I do. So it's not, my job is not who I am, but it's a part of who I am, if that makes sense. And that gives me fulfillment in addition to everything else. So it's kind of like looking at all parts of my life and going, okay, I'm happy with all those parts of my life. And that makes me feel fulfilled.
I love that. And I love how you spoke about how your job and what it is that you do is a part of you. Because I think that, through life, people go through life, walk through life, and they may not acknowledge how big of a part the career is for them. So when they're in something that isn't fulfilling, that can affect you deep at your core. So when you're able to make those shifts and manifest things like you have for yourself, that's the way that you can more fully become you and have that fulfillment flow through you in all levels. So being a manifestation coach, what is the most fulfilling part of it all?
I think for me is watching people who have a dream to actually take those first steps to go, oh my God, I think it's possible for me. And I'm like, yes, let's go, let's do this. That's really what lights me up, is people who are not necessarily tired, but they want a change, and then they actually implement things to make that change happen. That's the best part of it. Like watching other people get fulfilled and get lit up. I really love that.
I love it. Yeah, it is so powerful, especially in the coaching space, and having that possibility, like
Yes.
that light bulb moment when you see people be like, oh, it is possible for me, not just for this person that's on Instagram, not for just this lady down the street that manifested a new car, a new home, but like for me too, which is so beautiful. And
Exactly.
when it comes to manifestation, we were kind of talking about before we jumped on here, people often talk about the whole law of attraction, writing it down, connecting it with it, using vision boards like I have behind me, or whatever tools to manifest. But something that we're going to talk about today is the importance of surrendering to the universe, surrendering to the divine plan. So why do you think surrender is just as important as everything else that people talk about when it comes to manifestation, if not more, even more important?
Yeah. So there's this great quote, and it's basically around letting things control us. So when we are so attached to the outcome that we want, that then begins to control us. And we then can't focus on living in the present and living our best lives right now because we're so focused on what's coming up, and we're not actually if once we give that up, we can actually see all of the great stuff that's around us already, and then let that new thing come in. Okay. So it's just about not letting that thing control us. That's the best way that I like to explain surrender.
Yeah, no, that's so
Yeah.
powerful. And I love the alignment because in my business, I call it destination syndrome. When you're so obsessed with like getting to the destination that you're not embracing the journey. So that's so cool.
Exactly.
And I know
Exactly.
it's easier said than done for people, right? Because as a society, we're set up as control. These are the steps to success, pointing like A, B, C, checking
Yep.
them off the list as we go along. So it
Yep.
creates this false sense of like control in our lives, right? And kind of suffocating our dreams on the way to doing
Yes.
that. So
Yep.
surrender can seem like a very daunting thing at
Yeah.
first. So
Yeah.
when it comes to surrender, what does that even mean to you? Aside from the whole thing of releasing control, what does surrender really mean?
So the way that I talk about manifestation, it's so I've got 5 steps that I ask people to follow. So I've got an online course, and it's clarity, clearing, alignment, surrender, and gratitude. Okay. So when you go through those steps, surrender becomes easier because when you look at the 5th step, which is gratitude, for example, when you start to see all of the amazing things around you and have gratitude for what you already have, surrender becomes easier because you think, okay, if I can have this, that would be amazing, but I'm also okay without it. So for me, it's about reminding people that what we want would be amazing, but we don't necessarily need it. Okay. Because once we have attachment to something that we need, it's a totally different energy. And our whole body is then focused on getting that one thing. I'm desperate for that. I've got that needy energy, right? And once we can release that, then we're making space for the new things that we want to come in. And we're actually able to see different opportunities and have gratitude for all of those things that we already have. It's like giving a kid a toy. If you give them a toy every time that they want something and they don't have gratitude for everything else, you think, well, why would I give you more if you don't have gratitude for the things that you've got? So it's about taking that step back and going, you know what? I am so lucky. I've got so many amazing things in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. It would be amazing if I could get this, but I'm totally okay if I don't.
Hmm.
That's for me one of the most important things about surrender. So gratitude for me is a big practice. It really helps me to release whatever it is that I'm trying to manifest because, yeah, like I said, once you hold on to it, that then becomes the focus of all of your energy, and energy flows where intention goes. So if you're thinking about it all the time with that desperation energy, that's what you're giving out.
Yeah, that's huge. The whole sense of attachment. And I think sometimes we don't even realize how attached
Yes.
we are to the outcome, right?
Yep.
Because we're so like focused and we're in the zone and we're taking the action steps and we're doing all the practices. So what is
Yep.
like the telltale signs that you might be too attached to like the outcome of you achieving the destination or getting the things checked off of your bucket list or your items, whatever that may be? What would be some warning signs for people that might not be aware that they're overly attached to the outcome or overly in this control state while manifesting?
Yeah. I guess if you sort of look back on your day, for example, and you can't find 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for or that you're happy about in your day, it might be a sign that you're looking too far forward and not actually appreciating where you are. So if you can't think about anything else, then that to me is a big sign that you're so focused on this that you're not appreciating where you are. So that's just a really easy one. Awareness is key for so many things in life. And when we can start to be aware of our behavior and our words, then everything will start to change.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
having that gratitude will help with being present and not too
Yes,
caught up in the destination and too laser focused. Because it's
exactly.
interesting because when people talk about manifestation, they often talk about like being really focused so you can
Yep.
become one with what you want and attract what you want. So it's really
Yep.
powerful to acknowledge the importance, just as it is being focused, but also
Yep.
being focused on the now and every step
Yeah.
of it.
But the thing is, it's fine to be focused, but we want to make it so that it's so subconscious that your body and your energy and everything about you is moving you towards that goal without you even thinking about it. Okay. So it's like if you want to be healthy, right? So you're in alignment with being healthy. We want it to become so subconscious that when someone comes along and says, hey, let's go and get whatever junk food, you just, nah, I'm fine, thank you. That automatically comes out without you thinking, hey, is that something I should be doing? We want it to be so ingrained in who you are and integrated into your lifestyle that you don't need to think about it anymore. That's not to say that you're not working towards it. You are. You're just not consciously thinking about it all the time.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's a
Yeah.
powerful perspective shift. And if
Yeah.
someone's new to manifesting and they're doing things the doing way, right?
Yeah.
The overly focused, the controlling, the,
Yeah.
in that energy versus shifting more into surrender and the subconscious. Like, what is a way that someone that may be new to manifesting can make the shift of making whatever they're manifesting a subconscious, ingrained, integrated part of their life versus hyperfixating on every step?
For me, thinking about why you want something is a big deal, right? Because when you understand why you want something, it comes from a place of feeling, okay? And when we make decisions from a place of feeling, they're much more natural, they're much more subconscious and ingrained in us because we're making a decision based on how it's going to make us feel. So if we're in alignment with what we want to manifest and we know why, and that feeling, that's the feeling we're chasing, it's going to make it much easier to make those decisions. So if you ever think that you're so hyper focused on it, drop back and think about why you want it. And then remember that if that's the case, if that's why you want it, everything is going to lead you down that path anyway.
Yes. So powerful, so powerful. So now they have their why, they know what they're going for, and they're getting into this point where they're taking the action. How can they incorporate the surrender piece? What are some practical ways that if someone is manifesting, as a lot of people are right now, being that it's the new year when they're tuning in, what are some practical baby steps that people can take to integrate this more surrendered approach to their manifesting journey this year?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of ways that I teach the surrender part. So the first one is imagine you're carrying all your manifestations in a backpack and then rocks, okay? And you're going to chase your manifestation. You're carrying all these rocks in your backpack. You're walking up the hill. You need to let those go. You can't make it up the hill if you're carrying all of these things, okay? It's weighing you down. So it's about letting that go and going, I'm just going to go and have fun and climb up this mountain. I'm going to let go of all of these things that are weighing me down. So that's one of the first ones, is to let go of all of the things that are weighing you down. The second one is to have fun with it. And this is a great one for people who are just starting out because they're like, oh, this manifesting thing, I don't know about it, rah, rah. I like to say, well, just have fun with it. Just think about something that you want and be like, wouldn't it be fun if I got that promotion? Wouldn't it be fun if that guy asked me out? Wouldn't it be fun if we did this? And then once you say it like that, you've got no attachment to it, right? Because you think, oh, well, it's just fun. It doesn't matter. And then when it actually happens, you're like, well, okay, what just happened? Because you've got no attachment to it. You've surrendered it basically from the start. So you're much more open to it because you've had that proof then come in. And the third way I teach is probably the most deep, and that is to make peace with the thing that scares you about your goal. So what would happen if you want this thing so badly and you can't have it? If you can't make peace with that, if you can't go, I want this new house, whatever it is, and you're so super focused on it, I want you to go, okay, what happens if I don't have this house? And if someone says to me, well, that can't happen, that's what I have to have, I'm like, well, that's what you need to learn to work through. Once you can let go of that and go, I don't need the house, I'm going to be okay, everything will work out, that surrender part there, that's when everything changes for you.
Wow, that's powerful. That last one really got me. And I'm like, that's something that I can incorporate into my manifesting. So thank you so much for sharing that. And you have a podcast as well that I'm so grateful that I will be a guest on. We're going to be recording this after this is complete here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what people can expect from the podcast?
Yeah. So for me, my podcast is about empowering and inspiring other women to live their best life. So I love talking to people who are creating their best life or who have created their best life or who are on their way. I love to show all those different parts of the journey so that somebody who's listening can go, oh, that sounds like me. I could do that. Just those little things that drop in for people are the big shifts that we can make. When you understand that, oh yeah, she's done that. I could just start by doing that. I love it. People are like, oh, wow. I'm like, yes, yes. You know, I just want people to walk away feeling like this is possible for me. Because that's such a big thing, is that, oh no, I've got my job, I've got my life sorted. I can't do that. And I'm like, you totally can. You're only one decision away from where it is that you want to go. Jump on that path. So for me, that's what my podcast is all about.
I love this word of possibility that keeps coming up. It's so powerful. I love it. Love it. So if someone's listening in and they're like, ooh, I want to just continue the journey with Hayley, what's the best ways that they can connect with you, whether it be social media, or where can you best direct them?
Yeah, you can visit my website, is hayleymil.com, and I think you can probably see it up there, maybe HAYLEY mill.com. I'm also on social media. Instagram is probably where I like to hang out the most. It's hayley.j.mill, but you'll find that on my website as well. So I've got that, and my podcast is also on YouTube, because one of the things for me was, you know, do things that scare you, jump out of your comfort zone more and more. So I was like, I'm going to put my podcast on YouTube. I'm going to make it video, you know, and that has taught me so much. And so you can find me on YouTube there as well.
Amazing. We're going to leave all the links in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been a very powerful episode. I really appreciate all your wisdom, and thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I'll upload a new video on Thursday. See you in the next one. Bye.